Hey everybody. So on a different note here, things are serious right now, and I should probably be paying a little bit more attention to what's going on. But again, going back to the energy thing, dude, like you don't want shit to get you unnecessarily tripped up. So, I mean, the thought of spreading war itself is going to create tons of fucking anxiety and fear and all sorts of types of people. So it's another I mean, that's completely natural, but I again, like if there's, and that's why this war thing is bad on so many fucking levels, really. Because I mean, you're killing other human beings, which is bad for itself and other people, and there's a lot of innocent life and buildings that are damaged and killed and destroyed. That happens in war, so that's bad too. But then there's also just the propaganda of and the fear of war. Businesses are destroyed. I mean, it's really fucking bad in a lot of different ways. Some businesses are made even richer, like the military-industrial complex and the fucking weapons companies and Boeing and all this types of shit, which would give them incentive to help promote war. And I believe that there are rumors, and there probably are legitimate ties to companies and having invested interests in helping promote conflict. I don't know. It feels like they could be. I could be fucking off though. And again, if these the way I would do it, I would have these companies and these fucking things doing these things without even knowing that they're helping and aiding other things out in the world. So it's possible that companies like Boeing and other companies that make weapons and shit like that are completely unaware of of these nefarious aliens and like the actual. I don't know why it's so hard for me to get some of this shit out. I think it's because of my voice and the Suboxone I take is fucking up my throat, so it makes it harder to speak. So I'm gonna get off this subject and just say, what's been on my mind is that we should all, look into local government and just work with your local government and people within your local neighborhoods and people, and start going to your town halls and start talking to them about ideas, solutions, because each solution is different because each problem in each area is fucking different. So what works for one city might not work exactly the same for another city. The problems here in Portland are going to be different than the problems in Los Angeles. There are some similarities that we can use, and in those situations we can't help each other, but my point being, it's like the person in that area is going to be the best person to help out that situation because they're the most well-informed. And information is key to success in the battlefield. So people that are the locals are going to have the best information, the most intimate knowledge on the problems of that area. So it makes sense to have those people deal with the problems as opposed to people outside of the area. I do think there's some goodness that can come from redirecting power from the federal back to the state, back to the people. That's really what it is. Anyways, I'm going to be looking into the local Portland government and examine, because I think unfortunately, another thing that's starting to come across is that there seems to be a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of police forces seem to be, to certain levels and certain extents, involved in all sorts of cover-ups, serial killings. There's a lot of weird, suspicious shit that happens with police officers. And a lot of them are very good people, some of the best people on the planet, probably. And my hat goes off to any and every single person that puts on that uniform with the true intent to help serve the people. My hat truly goes off to you, because that's a dangerous-ass motherfucking job in a time when there's a lot of people doing a lot of fucked up shit. Especially if you're in some of these big cities, man. There's a lot of, especially today, I saw I think 2 or 3 shootings just in the past 24 hours. There was a dude with the flamethrower in Colorado, which, that's a whole nother thing, but anyways, unfortunately, it looks like, to a greater or lesser degree, some of our police departments have been involved in covering up some really sick shit going on with kids. Again, but it's different for each area, so that's where it's up to the residents of that area to look into the police officers, to the mayors, to the people in charge, to the big families that own a lot of businesses, and see what they're really about. Just see what the fuck they're really about. And if they're not about doing good, if they're doing evil shit, expose it. I'm all about rehabilitation over punishment. So that's a whole other thing we got to change. There is our penile system. Because I was watching some 60-minute thing on being locked up, and the inmates. I mean, it's common sense. Like, people are not rehabilitating in a lot of these jails. They're getting oftentimes worse. And a lot of times the correction officers just allow prisoners to orchestrate their own brand of justice within the cells, within the jail. And I'm not even blaming the correctional officers, because a lot of times they're in situations where they have 2 guards responsible for 300 inmates. So what the fuck is, how can you expect, it's just completely outnumbered. So anyways, but that's a whole fucking other issue, is our penal system, and the way that it really doesn't help rehabilitate people. It just fucking punishes them, and then it leaves them with a bad fucking record, and they come out with a lot of times with a bad attitude as well, which doesn't help. And a lot of times there's a lot of violence that happens in these jails, so there's a lot of PTSD that's probably associated with going to jail. So 2 wrongs doesn't make it right. Just because these people went and did a bunch of fucking offenses doesn't mean we have the right to hurt them. Okay, that's where I disagree. I do not think it's right to kill pedophiles. I do not think it's right to beat pedophiles. I don't. I know a lot of dudes are going to look at me like I'm fucking nuts. I don't give a shit. It ain't right. You're not helping them. You're hurting them. And you're hurting yourselves too by putting curses on yourselves, by taking vengeance into your hands when it's not for you to take. It does not feel right to me. So anytime I felt like the need to do that, I felt that, but I've always known it wasn't right. I've always known. And if you look at humanity's history, where has that gotten us? When has vengeance ever really solved anything? It doesn't, dude. They've been killing each other for fucking thousands of years in the Middle East. And unless they turn their ways and stop killing each other and taking vengeance, it doesn't look like it's going to stop unless somebody drops a bomb and just wipes everybody out. Or some new world order comes in and literally fucking enslaves people. Like, it's mandatory. Like, if you want to eat and have water, you're going to have to take the fucking ship type shit. So, and it's like, this is what, and you look at things spiritually or etherically, we, because of our disharmonious ways, we've allowed all this evilness in, man. It's like, we have to be taught a lesson. Like, humanity is not, we're having trouble getting the message here. Like, when you allow money to lead, bad things happen. You're allowing people's lower vibrational selves to lead. Now, whole governments, America is all about capitalism, which is all about profiting. That is now our leading force here in America. Is not morality. It has turned into greed. It's sad to say, but that's the truth, man. I mean, to me, that's why they put on that uniform. It seems like you're more fighting for greed than it is for morality, and that's not right. So to me, it's not right. So this is also why, like, fundamentally, we also need to come into agreement on what America really is, and what do we want America to be. What type of America were we told that America was? Because it does have a purpose. It is a state. There is an intent of America, and it's been turned into something that is different from its original intent. And is that change good? I don't think it is. If you look at the stats will tell you that we are more unhealthy than ever, and we're spending more money than ever while being sicker than ever. I mean, it's common sense. This shit is not working. That's why these demons, they can only fool you for so long. That's why ultimately their end goal is to change, is to completely transmutate, in my opinion, because they know once you know their fucking true colors, you're going to want nothing to do with them. So they know that, if they know that, then the best way they can get you is to, by slowly, step by step, slowly, subtly, very sneakily, like a snake, fucking propaganda, using propaganda and programming to change us, to change our DNA. That's why it all goes back to the DNA. Shout out to 13, man, and the junk DNA and the foods and the fucking how that affects us and who we are and our actions and worship and work and these jobs that we don't like that perpetuate products that are bad for us and the world, and how that's all fucking it's not that it's all connected on purpose, but everything we do does have an effect on this reality. And like when you have all these little things that are bad in all these little ways, yeah, they might on their own just be little minuscule things, but when you have a ton of those minuscule things hurting you, that creates a large momentum, and that's what we're dealing with. And it all goes back not just to greed of money, but of that lower vibrational dominance, of that will of those predator ones to wanting to control and dominate others, and to get other people to do the will of that which is physically superior. You know, that's why it goes a lot in, like, what Hitler was doing was force, was trying to annihilate anything that didn't stand up to his fucking standards and what he thought was right and good, and forcing everybody else to comply to his means, and if you didn't, then you were fucking dead. That's largely how the cartels operate too. That's why it's like they ain't even creative. Like their shit isn't creative. Once you break it down to how they work, it's really simple. And that's why it's like we really need to I feel like having a method to look at everything that allows us to determine if something is good and what level of goodness is at, and if something is evil, what level of evilness is at, is something that's essential to navigating through this reality right now, because there's so much fuckery, there's so much trickery, there's so much illusion, there's so much glamour and glitz trying to cover up what something truly fucking is, to where people don't even know who the fuck they really are. And that's exactly how I would do it if I was trying to change a population. Is first you got to get them not knowing who the fuck you got to get them rebelling against who they are initially, and that goes into the music, to the movies, to the sex, like that, the flesh, like seeking of the flesh. It starts with that, with going after the dick or the pussy. Like once you fucking start wanting to look at porno, and then that opens you up to a realm of sex and being an adult and getting drunk and cigarettes and fucking beating people up and fighting and violence, and it's cool and it's interesting and it's stimulating at first, and then it turns into hell. And that's what they want. And it's like, it's exciting to us because it's different. It's something that is alien to us, because like coming from that harmonious place, like we don't do that. We don't beat each other up. Like that's silly. That's not human. That's not really how good humans. That's not how good humans behave. Is we don't fight each other like that. It's stupid. I mean, we should come to a point where we can use our minds and intellectually solve problems rather than coming to fists. But that serves more of a higher advanced purpose as opposed to a demonic purpose. So the demonic ones lower vibrational ones aren't gonna want that. They're gonna want us fucking fisting, socking it out, duking it out, killing, hurting each other. So I got off on a tangent here, but essentially just like, again, just going back to fucking looking into your local governments and looking at these people and seeing which ones are really here for the people and which aren't. And then also express your own creativity. I want to hear more about what people feel that they want to see in America. Like, what type of America do you want to see? What type of changes do you think we should implement? Is this the type of America you think our forefathers imagined? And if it isn't, what do you think they would imagine? Like, that's where we need to start thinking our heads, because I don't think George Washington would be happy with what he sees before us today. I just don't, man. So, but you know, the good thing about all this is we have the power, and we have the ones that have made our own beds. So this mess is our fault to a greater or lesser extent, but we are all a part of this in this same time and space right now. So one way or another, to a greater or lesser extent, we're all involved, you know? So the sooner we all take accountability for it and just be like, yeah, okay, I've fucked up here and I'm a part of this problem too, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and you know, the sooner we can, you know, see the problem, identify it, and also acknowledge that, yeah, me working these types of jobs that are really just for me making more money for my own ego, like that's not doing as much good for me as me working a job that's actually helping save the world and saving starving children on multiple levels. Like doing that type of work's good for my soul, as well as it's getting in help get children fed, which is going to help feed children as well as help grow my soul in a good way and help develop a better connection to higher vibrational ways of being. So there's a multitude of positive benefits from those type of jobs, from those type of works, from those type of cooperations or corporations. All right, peace, y'all.